You've looked at big ones. You might even tried a big one. But now you're thinking, would I like a small one? Hi, it's Linz from Sweet Natured. As always, I'm joined by Marky.
Hello.
Hello. And this is our Windstar Star Legend Yacht Tour. This is my first time watching, so let's see what we can see.
Well, as you said, Linz, this is our full yacht tour of Star Legend. Now,
What?
put a little asterisk there.
Yeah, wow, the asterisk was unnerving me. What's that about?
Well, it's not technically the full tour because the marina element to it was shut.
Marina?
So, yeah, it has a bit at the back that opens up so that you can get in the water, and it has kayaks and stuff like that.
You mean the flap?
Yeah, it has a flap at the back. But because of the time of year and the weather that we had on this cruise, it never opened, and the area was closed, so I couldn't go into that.
Okay.
So it's a full tour, except that tiny little bit of the ship which I couldn't get into.
Okay.
Anyway, yacht tour.
Yes.
This is the first time we've ever been on a ship anything like this size.
A yacht.
Well, yeah, a yacht, it can still be a ship.
Okay. I mean, I like the word yacht because it makes out that I holiday like the Illuminati.
That you're a bit posh,
A bit posh.
a bit fancy. Yeah, I mean, Illuminati aside, it is by a significant margin the smallest that we've ever been on. I think the smallest ship of any description we'd been on before this had about 1,200 passengers.
Yes.
This one had 208 passengers out of a maximum 312.
Yes.
If it's all double occupancy. And it had 199 crew.
And it's the first time that we've done so small. I know you've just said that, but I'm just reiterating. Very small.
It is. What's your thoughts as we're walking around it? Looking back at it now. Because at the time we're recording this, it's a couple of weeks since we got back.
What's that wood called? I loved that. That was everywhere.
I want to say cedar, but
It's not cedar.
someone's going to correct me and tell me what it is. I have no idea.
It was
it's,
very yachty. Loved the wood.
I will say this for it. As I said, there were a lot of wood on the top decks. Are you chortling there?
Shh.
But it was all incredibly smooth. When we got out of the hot tub or the pool, and you didn't have your slippers on or your shoes on,
Yeah.
it wanted rough wood
It sanded it.
at some point. Not necessarily that week. I will say.
Is it beach? Oh, just what's the wood? Just tell
Let
me.
us know in the comments below what the wood is on the
You know
top
the
deck of
wood.
Windstar.
Tell me the wood.
The upkeep of the ship
Yes.
was incredible. I know it had been in for its major
Can we just call
refit.
it yacht, please?
Okay. I will try. You correct me wherever, or you just use the term yacht, wherever you like. It had its major refit about 4 years ago when it was stretched. And
I don't
sort of
like the
updated.
term stretched.
Well, that's what term they used.
I don't like that.
It was Star Plussed.
It was Star Plus.
I think that's the official term.
I think it is Star Plus. Let's go with that.
And you can tell that at that point, when they spent so much money doing it up then, that they've just kept up to it. Because whenever we were in port, and you saw it very briefly at the back of this one, there was constant maintenance on it to make it constantly look amazing.
Can we talk about Star Grill, please?
We can talk about
because
Star
this is
Grill.
what's important. Food, cocktails.
Well, this is where we had our very first cocktail.
Yes, and they had the musical duo. They was accompanying when we got on.
I didn't make you stay on the ship for 2 hours without a cocktail.
How long was it?
About 16 minutes.
I can cope with 16
They took
minutes.
us. We embarked on. When we got on, there was a lady who took us straight to our room.
They had really good food here, like a grill thing. We'll do it in the food thing, but it was. I liked it here.
The food was incredible there.
And the cocktails.
I said, we went to the room, then we came upstairs and we
Yeah.
had a cocktail there. Because they have a cocktail of the day on there every day.
Yes, we tried those.
We had every one of them.
We did.
Some were better than other ones.
Yeah.
What was also nice on some of the colder days,
Yeah.
they had warmer cocktails.
They did. They had boozy, warm cocktails.
Yeah, I had one called a hot apple pie.
I had that too.
You have that one as well? Mm-hmm. And that was sort of like a mulled wine with apple and cider.
The hot
and then
chocolate.
rum.
The boozy hot chocolate.
Well, we were just sat down at the near the pool, weren't we?
Yeah, just getting
there
some
were no
air.
one sort of else around, and they just walked around with hot chocolate. Like, oh,
Oh,
yes,
no,
please.
there's people sat out, but...
Yeah, but absolutely lovely. Mm-hmm. Talking of lovely, would you like to invite people to subscribe?
I would love for you to subscribe. Thank you, as always, if you already have done. Honestly, it's lovely.
It is, thank you. And of course, you can follow along on all of the major social media as well. Mm-hmm. Back on with the tour.
Yes.
It's not a big ship.
No, it's because it's a yacht.
It is. What I was about to say then is it's only 8 decks,
Oh, it's so...
which is what it was just showing
Yeah.
in there. We're up on the top deck at the moment. All of the
This
decks...
is at the back. This is at the back.
It is, yeah. This is the Yacht Club...
Aft.
The Yacht Club Cafe. Mm-hmm. Also a really sort of popular hangout because they have giant jigsaws in there, board games,
We played cards
chess.
there nearly every morning, didn't we?
Yeah, we went and had breakfast in the veranda. Normally, we did our breakfast here one day.
Yeah.
And then sort of made our way down there because that's where the coffee shop is.
Yes. And
There is a coffee shop in the veranda as well.
Yeah, but this was a lovely coffee shop area.
It was, and you could just sort of sit and chill in here. Mm-hmm. There was pretty much always people in, as you've seen, or as you will see as we carry on walking around the ship. I'm filming this when we're in port, so the ship's very quiet.
Yeah.
But even on a very quiet day, there's still people in here.
Yes.
This was definitely one of the more popular places to hang out during the day. Mm-hmm. Nice little library in there.
Yeah.
But we went in to play cards and there were board games and stuff like that as well. Some nice cakes.
Cake,
Did you have a cake? I don't
coffee.
think I ever had cake in there. I had a muffin.
Oh.
I don't remember having a slice of cake.
I'm sure I had a banana thing.
Well, a banana muffin, though.
Was it? Or was it banana bread?
Might have been a banana bread. I don't
Either way, a banana was involved.
Fair enough. But yeah, lovely space. Going back to what I was saying about sort of the deck side, whilst there are elevators to sort of take you up and down the decks, we only ever used the elevator twice. The day that we got on,
Yes.
because the lady said followed me and walked into an elevator, so I didn't have choice. And the day that we got off, because we walked off with our own luggage.
Yes.
Because we had early flights. So that was the only 2 times we did.
Yeah.
It's a very easy ship to get around.
There's my hot tub there.
You love that hot tub. We'll get back down to it later on for you.
And my flag.
Very easy ship to get around.
Oh, it's so easy. It's basically, it's turn left to go to bed and right to get a drink.
Yeah.
From the stairs.
You've only got one.
I can deal with that.
You can remember that.
That's just,
It was so easy, wasn't it?
yeah.
You've only got one deck where it's passengers only on there, which is deck 4. So deck 8, 7, 6, 5 and 3
Have things on.
have all got things on there.
Yeah.
So you will go across all of the decks at some point.
Yes.
But we'll be sort of heading back out of here.
I loved it in here.
A really nice, chilled
Yes.
vibe. It kept confusing me that it were called Yacht Club because I kept mixing that up in my own head when I'm talking about it with MSC. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it don't look anything like MSC's Yacht Club, but
And it is actually a yacht.
this is true. It's more aptly termed.
Yes.
Now,
Now,
as you will notice, I'm going down the steps at this bit.
Yeah.
Because it's easier. Into where the spa area is. Mm-hmm. And we're also very near the bridge.
Very near the bridge. And this is it's just so easy to get around up and down in.
It is. We stayed on deck 6.
And by easy I mean like really I could be getting ready in the room, put my lipstick on, and then have a drink like 3 minutes later in my hand because they knew what drink I liked. And so as soon as I walked in, they were getting my drinks ready. And my nuts.
They were getting your nuts ready. The spa has all the usual spa facilities that you'd expect. You had your hair done on there which is the first time you've ever had your hair done on a ship.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do it again.
No, you prefer sort of that, being able to take your time with your own sort of hairdresser who knows you a little bit more. It's not that they were bad.
No.
At all. And the spa, it's got its own gents bit where I'm walking to at the back as well, which
Yes.
I was fairly surprised it did. You expect that now on most of the modern bigger ships.
Yeah.
But for it to have a dedicated
Like barbers
gents
area. Yeah,
section, which they often don't. So really nice with them there. But it also has which we're heading towards in a second, the free-to-use thermal spa area.
Yes.
So with the sauna, the steam room,
And you
and
could
the
just
hot beds.
tip up for that, you do.
All you do is just walk down and say, is anyone using it? And they'll say, like, yeah, there's 2 people in there, or no, there's nobody in there, because there's only like 4 beds
Yes.
in there, so there's not a lot of spare space. And you can just go in there
It was
at
lovely.
any time for free,
Yeah.
which I really did appreciate. We went
Yeah.
in there a couple of times. We never spent that long in there,
No.
maybe an hour or so.
Yeah.
But just having the option to go in, whereas when we've been on other ships where they've got that facility and you've spent $30, $40, $50 a day each,
Yeah.
you feel obligated to go in there and spend longer.
And also, you get to a point where, you're steamed out or you're saunaed out, or those beds suddenly become very uncomfortable. The warming beds, because you don't get a pillow, so then you have to fashion your own pillow, and you get to the point like, I'm done now. I'm cooked.
Yeah.
I liked it though.
I've just realised neither of us ever went in. That's not true. You went in to drop the towels off, but we never went into the changing rooms because
I
we
did.
got changed in his room and just walked down because it were like 30-second walk.
I think you'll find we walked up.
We walked up, yeah.
Here
from
it goes.
Brexit.
You see what I mean? You have to fashion your own pillow. They're the same. They're
They're the same on all of them. But It's
Yeah.
these sort of hot stone ones, but they're lovely. Didn't have any problem with it.
And you could do the lighting as well and make it as dark as you want, which was really good because I have gone to these places being seriously hungover and being able to turn down the lights. It's very helpful for me.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could kind of see on that bit there. You could set the light to whatever colours you wanted, alter it up and down.
The steam room was very steamy as well.
It was, and it came on when you went into it. It was kept at a constant temperature, but then sort of steamed up very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Because when you see it now, people might think, "Oh, it don't look that steamy."
No.
But when I go in, it
Starts
realises
to
I'm there, starts to steam up, and the can will start to steam up within a few seconds. Then.
Yes.
You see these, these little water dispensers all over because they give you I think they're classed them as Nordic, what they call water
Bottles.
in your room.
Yeah.
But they'd also fill them up for you, so we never bothered carrying them around.
No.
But you can get in there room temperature water.
Which is supposed to be good for you when
Yeah.
you've had a sauna and
Yeah,
things.
cold water or sparkling water straight from them,
I love sparkling.
and fantastic.
Yeah.
So there were quite a few of them scattered around the ship, but you were never far off them anyway.
No.
Because the yacht is that small.
And we're heading towards like the gym and the exercise area now, aren't we?
Yeah. The gym, not that either of us used the gym on this particular cruise. Again, I was surprised as to how big it is.
You could get your own personal trainer as well.
You could, the motion studio, which is where we're in now, every morning had things like free yoga lessons in there. Yeah, you obviously paid a lot of attention to that bit. I walked past on more than one occasion where there were people working out in there, but there'd only be like 2 or 3 people in there.
Oh.
I think they did like morning stretch at 6 or 6:30 every morning.
More power to you.
Yeah, that wasn't high on your agenda at that point, was it?
No.
The fitness centre, as I said, I was really impressed by, and once again, another water dispenser in here. The quality of the equipment.
What's that?
That's a rowing machine.
Is it?
Yeah. Fancy one.
What's that?
Are you just asking me what each bit of the thing is because you've never seen these things before?
What's that?
They're all for doing exercise, Linz.
I have my own exercise regime.
You do. It involves picking up cocktails and using a fork.
Let's go with that.
It does. But as I said, surprisingly large. I'd see people from the outside when we were walking around, because that's
Oh, yeah,
the main
people
deck
were doing
behind.
it, yeah.
You'd see people on there. Again, like most cruises, less as the cruise went on than what there is at the
Yeah,
start.
but, they did, well done to you.
But there were quite a few people on this cruise. This was 9 nights, who were then staying on to the next leg,
they went
or
to-
even the one afterwards. 'Cause
All the way it went to Roma, and then it went to
Venice. So, once again, the lovely water things.
Mm-hmm.
So, great for when you're working out. But as a really nice, spacious gym that we saw plenty of people using.
Yeah.
Now, onto the deck.
Oh, this was my, oh, look, a lift. Now, we never went in, because when we were going in on embarkation day and disembarkation day, they had some really weird curtains up, which you said so people didn't chip the inside of the lift. But I never saw it. How pretty it was when it didn't have its curtains
No, because
up.
we only ever saw it the 2 times,
No, it was
didn't
kind
we?
of like being put in a sack.
Well, it was
Yeah,
it kept
I know.
tidy. It has a promenade.
Yes.
It had 2 areas that it marked out
Mm-hmm.
for walking or running. One of the decks you had to do 13 laps for a mile, and the other deck it was 15 laps for a mile.
This is all new to me.
Again, not something that you chose to do on this particular one.
Nope.
Now, the reason that I'm walking down here,
Yes.
apart from that we're doing a ship tour,
Mm-hmm.
is that one of the really unique features that Windstar cruises have, and it's not just on this ship, it's all of their ships,
Yeah.
is they have an open bridge policy.
Yes.
So whenever it's not doing fancy manoeuvres
Mm-hmm.
or the weather's really bad, you can go on to
Yeah, it's open. It has a little
any
sign.
time.
Yeah.
And it'll say bridge open or bridge closed.
Yes. I was a little intimidated.
When you went in,
Well, I was a little bit scared because I didn't want to touch anything that would cause a catastrophe.
you mean like here?
So I had to have a few drinks.
Well, when we went in, you went, "I'm here to drive the ship," and there were 2.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I didn't say drive the ship. I
You
went,
said, "I'm here to steer the yacht."
no, I didn't say that either. I was all, because I was quite drunk. I think I said something along the lines of, I'm here to drive boat.
You got extra northern.
I got extra northern, but it was fine because the 2 gentlemen there, they were both northern.
Yeah,
they were fine. It was fine. They understood.
I think they were both from the northwest of England, sort of around the Liverpool area. Weren't
Still north. Still
Yeah, that's
north. I'll
right.
take it. So they were like, oh, here she is. And, and they didn't let me drive it.
No.
Because I don't think you can drink and drive.
No,
But they were very sweet.
but it is such and you could have stayed there and asked as many questions as you
I
want.
could have stayed in there and asked as many questions. We just talked about how lovely the weather was in the UK compared to here, and how, and basically why I was not allowed to drive the boat.
One of
Sorry,
the other
yacht.
bits that they do, we were set to do it.
So many knobs. I was so tempted by all the knobs, but I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, this is not knob related. But one of the other things that they do on the bridge, and we were there to do it, is on particular nights they do stargazing.
They did.
From the bridge.
But it was cancelled.
Yeah, and the one of the senior officers, the lady came out and she's like, "I'm so sorry, that we can't do the stargazing tonight. It's just too
No.
cloudy." And there was another couple that were waiting to go. Well,
Yeah.
we'll do it some other time, which we never got a chance because
No.
the weather were just
No, that's
rubbish.
a very Illuminati thing on holiday to do, is stargazing.
Is it? Are you getting a special bonus payment every time you mention that today?
No, I'm just saying.
It feels like that's your word of the day.
No, it's not that. It's that fancy. That's what I'm trying to get
Okay.
across. You feel like you are
In a secret society.
in a secret yachting society. And this is what you get with this.
Pool deck.
Love pool deck. I loved this pool. It was so warm.
I know. Now, whether it's that warm all year round or not, I don't know.
I don't know. It was lovely.
We've been on so many ships, especially sort of in off seasons,
Mm-hmm.
where they've got the pool temperature exactly the same as summer, and it's just unusable.
Yeah,
This were like a bath.
it was beautiful. It was gorgeous, and the hot tub was gorgeous, and they brought us drinks there. I mean, these things we'll talk about in the review, but we just had to sit down, and then we'd have a drink.
Within seconds,
somebody was
someone
asking
would appear with what would you like. The pool was just so warm.
Can we
and the
talk
hot
about
tub
the
was lovely as
shower?
well. We can talk about the shower. There's one at the other side as well.
Yeah. L'Occitane products. L'Occitane products at the side of the pool.
It's exactly the same products at the side of the pool as you have in your suites.
Smells lovely. I think we should get some of that to use at
You
home.
like that one?
It was lovely.
lovely, wasn't
I didn't take any shampoo. I didn't take any shampoo or
Well, no, they
conditioner.
didn't have any loose ones. They had those giant bottles, and it felt wrong to take
But no-
a giant sort of
No, I
bottle
mean,
with
I
you.
didn't take it with me. I just didn't take it. I felt that I needed to take it.
Okay, so we're in the veranda,
Mm-hmm.
which lunchtime and breakfast is the veranda.
Yeah.
And then in the evening, they change it to candles.
It's lovely.
So candles is one of their two speciality, and I'm putting that in quotation marks.
Because you don't need to pay.
Because it's included, but you need to book it separately.
Yes. Yeah.
On our particular cruise, you could pretty much get into candles or Cuadro 44, which is the other one. Cuadro 44, whenever you wanted.
Well, we don't know. We did.
We had no problem booking
went-
into it whenever we wanted.
We went twice, and we didn't. But we only went to candles once because the food in the main dining room
Was so good.
in Amphora was incredible. It was still good in here. People like a steakhouse. They like sitting and looking at the back, like a little candle.
Yeah. The thing is, with this ship, essentially everywhere that you eat, with the exception of maybe the Yacht Club Cafe, which is a cafe, is speciality.
It's incredible.
It is really great food.
And we'll do it in the food review.
We're going to obviously go into a lot of depth on the food because it is something that they're really renowned for.
We knew the food was going to be good because of their
Association with James Beard Foundation.
yeah.
This area at the back, we didn't get to use it as much as, obviously, if you were in really nice
Did we do it
sort of
once?
climates. We went and sat out once, and then it was a bit windy, so we went back inside.
Yes, we did.
But as you can see on this particular day here,
It would have been fine.
yeah, this was in, I think, Valencia.
Mm-hmm.
And at lunchtime in here were lovely and
Yeah.
all open. They had it set up each day if you wanted to sit out,
It
even
looked
if the
very
weather
pretty.
wasn't great.
Yeah.
The deck that you can see below there is the staff deck. It's the crew deck.
Yeah.
So you can see it when you get off the ship of the crew hanging out at the back.
Yeah.
Which is nice that they've got a good open space as well.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the only rear view sort of platform that you've got apart from right up on deck 8 at the back as well.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it in here.
Loved it. I was spooky. I loved it too.
And the service in here was fantastic. 'Cause it's easy to look at and go, oh, it's a buffet, because it's got areas that's buffet, but there were live cooking stations, but you could also order a la carte. There were menus on there. The burger in there were fantastic.
It was so good.
And not a problem with seating because it's not a big
No.
ship.
No.
You know, so there was never a problem as getting in. And as I say, Veranda is your main place where you're going to eat breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
Because Amphora, the main dining room, doesn't open for breakfast or lunch.
Well, it did on a special day, but we'll talk about that in the food thing.
That's a separate one.
Yeah. So now we're in the main atrium, which is your.
Look at that, gorgeous.
No, it makes me feel all weird. This is your. This is
It's your main up and downy bit.
yes, yes. Cuadro look is there. This is our deck, isn't it? Deck 6.
Yeah.
We weren't.
Yeah, to go from here to our cabin was literally, 30 seconds?
It wasn't long. Depends how much.
And we were right near the front of the ship.
Yeah.
This is pretty much in the middle of the ship.
Yeah.
So you can tell how long it takes you to walk the
Yeah.
ship.
On the bouncy sea days, it took a little bit longer. I took my heels. I didn't wear them once.
No, you didn't. You just wore your flats, didn't you?
Yeah. I liked it in here.
It was lovely. We went in here twice. On one time we sat on this big table,
By
but we were the
ourselves.
only people on that table. Because would you like to sit on the big table near the kitchen? We're like, yeah, that'll be fun. And then nobody else sat there. And then the
Maybe
other
we're
time
terrifying.
we just sat on a table for two.
Yeah. There was a little uni loo there, little loo there.
Yeah, they've got a mixture of ladies and gents separate loos throughout it, but then they've got a few sort of
gender.
uni-loos as well on there. Mm-hmm. We've got coming up here on the left the Star Boutique.
Yes, I bought a hat
You did buy a hat.
because I had a Royal Caribbean hat and it was
You were
illegal.
wearing it on the first day.
It wasn't the first day. I just I need a hat for my excursion. This hat, I picked it up. It's a Royal Caribbean hat. I got on and it was almost like it was contraband. So then I had to go and buy a hat because I was just so embarrassed.
The pricing on here was actually not too bad.
Yeah.
Because sometimes some of the bits on here, not on this ship, but on ships generally, that you've forgotten, like suntan lotion and stuff, can be quite expensive. Mm-hmm. They were pretty normal pricing.
Yeah, it was.
And it was well stocked. Again, for a little ship.
Yes.
We've been on bigger ships.
Yacht.
We haven't been on bigger yachts. We've been on bigger ships that don't have as many sort of bits and
They've got the
pieces that
L'Occitane
we
there.
need.
Yeah. I say, I got a hat.
The only problem with it, because we had a really port-intensive itinerary, is it doesn't open in ports like most other cruise lines don't. Well, all of the cruise lines, the shops don't open.
Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome. And it closed at 11 o'clock. So on one of the days that we left, we departed at 10. It opened for an hour, then shut again.
Yeah, well, you know.
But always sort of popular when it was open as well.
Yeah.
Compass Roads is where we're now
Compass
heading.
Rose. Love Compass Rose. Not sure I'm loving this.
Well, I was just being slightly discreet as I was filming it going up there because they'd just been cleaning the carpet,
Okay, we'll let them off.
which is what they were doing.
Oh, I never saw it closed like that.
Well, that's because you've only ever been in there when it was open.
Now, I like this little table here. This
That-
little table
on the right there, that first table, that was our table, wasn't it? We sat
It
there
was.
every night.
And then I could sit across and wave at the band, and the band could wave at me. And we could talk to the band, and the band played some tunes for us.
They did.
And
This was the main entertainment venue, so this was sort of, generally speaking, our pre-dinner drinks
And post-dinner.
area and post-dinner, because you'd have, during the day, trivia would also be held in here, usually, and other bits that they had
the
going
trivia
on.
that every time I entered, I won.
We won.
I won.
I answered some questions.
You answered 2.
That's harsh.
I'm so good.
At music,
That's true. And could that's some general knowledge.
yeah, that's true. One of the bits that I did like in here,
What's that?
I actually think this is now my favourite pre-dinner, post-dinner bar area
Oh, with Dr. Flavour.
with Dr. Flavour. That was the group, not the cocktail. On any cruise ship, I think, at this
It was
point.
amazing.
Because for me, up until then, it's probably been Commodore,
Club?
on Cunard. They had even better canopies.
They had amazing
Beforehand.
canapes.
And the service was amazing.
Oh, and they were making my drink when I was sitting down,
You were already being made.
and they knew what drink I was having. You were working your way through the menu.
Yeah.
I was having a devil's margarita
To start with.
and loving it.
Yeah. It's a service thing that you get, obviously, on where there are so few passengers to crew ratio. It was nearly 1-to-1.
And they also knew that I like the cheesy canapes.
They did, so they got brought over as a priority for you when they were having those on. And the thing was, virtually every day, the canapes were different.
Yeah.
As well as they had like a selection of nut type stuff. But again,
Spicy
even
nuts,
them were
yeah.
different every day.
Yeah, like there was also very much like fancy knickknacks. Now they're like a crisp / what are they called?
Twiglets.
I wouldn't say twiglet. They weren't as dry as a twiglet. They were more spicy, like a spicy knick-knack. I
Okay.
don't know what they'd be called in the US. I'm going to call them spicy knick-knack.
It's a type of snack. Anyway, we're down sort of further in the atrium where you've got the reception area. Mm-hmm. We went to the reception a couple of times.
Chelsea on reception.
Sabrina,
And Chelsea.
yeah, absolutely fantastic.
I've never known anything like it.
We went there, and it was one of these things where you go on a normal cruise ship and ask something, and you know that they're going to come back to you about an hour or so later.
Maybe, if you're lucky.
And it was you'd ask the question, they'd pick up the phone, the person at the other end would start and be like, yeah, it's done. You'd be like, what the?
What is,
What is this service level?
yeah.
Fantastic.
Illuminati style.
It is, yeah. For the posh.
For the other half. Now,
This
where are we
area
now?
here is in the lounge. So it's another entertainment area. So when they had things like the cruise show and we had a brilliant flamenco.
Oh, the flamenco act was incredible. Brought a tear to my eye.
on, was that
Where did we overnight?
Malaga.
Malaga.
Yeah, that was in Malaga. They got on there. And
incredible.
absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? So you're not going to
The
see...
music, oh my God, it was incredible.
No, you're not going to see Broadway-style productions
No,
like you
but
get
what you
on
get is
Icon of the Seas type things.
It's authentic and it's cultural and it's, it just,
Absolutely fantastic.
oh my God.
Everything that we saw in there, we really enjoyed. The flamenco show was probably the standout because it was just so good. And it used the space so well.
It took you on an emotional journey.
It did. And
Loved it.
We thoroughly enjoyed it. The little screening room.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever, other than going in to look at it, I don't think we ever really went in here.
No.
It gets used for people playing cards.
Yeah.
And it's a main little sort of
and
cinema room.
What did the screen, though? What did the screen?
I don't actually ever remember seeing what they were screening. It was obviously nothing we were bothered about.
Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
That seems to be the film that follows us on every cruise for the last 3 years. We saw it on Iona like 2 years ago in their little cinema, and every cruise since it's like highlighting that. And I'm proud to say I've still never seen it.
I think it's probably still on because when we put it on the screen, it was on this.
Yeah, I've still managed to not see it.
That's Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, not Last Tango in Paris.
No, that'd be a very, very different one.
Can you imagine watching that in the screening room?
I mentioned earlier, deck 4 is the only deck where it's passengers only.
Yes.
There's
Just
nothing
rooms.
else on
Rooms.
one whatsoever
Yeah.
for you to see. Which it's the only one you have to remember. There's stuff on all of the other decks. Deck 3, which we'll be going down to shortly,
Yes.
is where Amphora is. But deck 4 is also your main disembarkation
Point. Yeah. And it's just like walking off on an like
for yacht.
For yacht.
It is so quick to get on and off. Warm towels at this time of year. I'm going to assume
chilly.
it's cold towels when it's really warm outside.
Yeah.
So quick to sort of get on and off anytime we did anything.
Yeah.
When we disembarked the ship, when we'd sort of got to the end of the cruise, still came off that way, but as we got near, they then took our cases off us and took them down. We didn't have to carry them down the ramp.
No.
Which I'm quite glad at.
Where are we going now?
We're going down to Amphora.
Oh, love Amphora.
It's your only main thing on deck 3, which is their main dining room.
Yeah.
On every night, apart from one that we went in here, we literally just walked up to the front and were seated straight away.
Yeah.
On one night, randomly, we're really busy, and we don't know if we just timed it weird.
7 or something, and we...
But it seemed like everyone else had done it at that point, and we had about a 5-minute wait.
Yeah.
But every other time, we just walked up to where the maitre d' says, and he's like, "Do you want a table just for the two of you? Or do you want to share?"
He knew. He only asked us a couple of times.
Yeah, by the time we'd been in there a couple of times, it's like, "Yep, table for two."
Yeah.
Only open for dinner, apart from they have like special days.
Like Market Galley Day.
Yeah.
That was a surprise.
I can't wait for people to see that when we do the review one, because they opened up the entire galley and set food stations up in there, and you went through, and we didn't know about this in advance till about 15 minutes before.
You was like, "Where we're going to the Star Grill?" I went, "No, we're going to the Galley Market." And you were like, "What's that?" I went, "I don't know," but we discovered it, and it was incredible. And
So-
if you're into food,
You're going to love that.
you're gonna love it,
Yeah.
and you could be there hours.
They also had a barbecue upstairs on the top deck on one of the other days.
Yes.
We know that they do other things in hotter climates as well.
Yes.
But this was obviously still
what?
in sort of start of spring.
Doing the Market Galley thing, with it being a little bit colder, you got to eat more. Because sometimes when you're in a warmer place, you don't want to eat. You might
No.
just want to just have a little nibble. But here, the warm stuff, because it was cooler.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
Make sure that you check out our food review.
How many bananas Foster did I have?
Well, you went for 2 lots. I don't actually know how many bananas Fosters there were.
I think I might have had 4 bananas.
There was definitely a lot, but you'll see it in the review, and it is something very, very special. Mm-hmm. It's certainly a first for us on any cruise we've done to date.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, we talked about sort of the galley bit line there. The service in here was exceptional.
Like a speciality. It was like a speciality.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it from the side. You can see it a little bit in the galley there,
Yeah.
but you'll see a lot more in the food review. We've been into speciality dining on other ships that's bigger than the main dining room.
Yes.
So it gives you an idea of there. Every table had 2 servers. So it
Yes.
felt very much like when we first went on Royal Caribbean back in early 2000s.
Yeah.
Where you had your dedicated servers. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a dedicated server because it depended where you went each day.
We have to talk about the wine. So we had the drinks package, and you ordered the wine by the glass. But they were just like, I was going to swear then. They were just like, oh, sod it. We'll bring you the bottle because we know you're going to drink it. So
Yeah,
why
and
would
then
we
they
just
put-
keep bringing wine glasses to you?
Yeah, so they poured it straight out of the bottle and then put the bottle in the ice
At the
bucket
side.
right near you.
So we got a bottle, even though we were glasses on the drinks package. That was incredible.
It was absolutely fantastic. And
I just,
a big, big plus for it.
yes.
Now, I queued on a little bit there, as you will have seen.
Oh, that's where I went the first time,
Yeah.
and you didn't film it.
I did film it and showed it on this bit where we were coming down to the Whirlpool and Lindsay walked into the cupboard.
Cleaning cupboard. Now, this thing, at least I wasn't in formal attire this time, because that
No.
has happened to me at
Absolutely.
the Grosvenor in London.
So this is right at the very front of the ship, and it's where we're going to end our tour. Because
I'm on the wine again,
You
but
are.
this is my hot tub.
it is. We only ever saw one other person down here during the
Yeah.
entire cruise.
Yes.
And he was only there for a short time.
Yeah.
It was an area that essentially became your
My
private
hot
area.
My hot tub.
And is just such a fantastic place to hang out. You can get to it, as I said, directly on deck 5, or as I panned around and showed up the stairs, that's the front of the bridge.
Yeah.
So you can walk around from deck 7 and straight down
Yeah.
the steps as well.
Yeah.
But if you get the chance to go on either Star Legends, Star Breeze, or Star Pride, they've all got this area at the front. Do give it a chance. Do give it a try because it's an amazing spot.
It's lovely.
And just such a stunning, stunning yacht. Well, that's bringing us right up to the end of the tour.
Wow. I mean, it is so cute. It is so cute. And there I am, look, on my own deck with my wood and my headphones.
And with that,
Oh,
it
cheers.
brings us to the end of the video.
Oh,
Linz.
you're wrapping me up. Cheers, darling. Thank you for watching and have a lovely day.